Good evening, everyone. This meeting was called for Monday, June 17th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at Borough Hall located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey, pursuant to the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-8B. The public may choose to attend this meeting electronically via Google Meet. This meeting was advertised on the Spotswood website and in the Home News Tribune.
Councilman Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Lesko?
Here.
Councilwoman Schwartz? Here. Councilman Zaborni?
Here.
And Council President Legakis?
Here.
Mayor Palmer is absent.
Okay, we'll start tonight with the engineer's report.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Borough Engineer's Office, I submit tonight's report. For the 2023 capital improvements of the Janus Drive neighborhood, River Road neighborhood, American Way, and various capital improvements, the paving and concrete work for the project is complete. The contractor is scheduling all traffic line striping, some of which was done today, and our office is preparing a punch list for any outstanding items. And for the 2023 NJDOT roadway improvements of West End, Lataw, and Walker, the project is scheduled to begin construction this week.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have one ordinance on first reading and one ordinance on second reading. Jen?
We have our first ordinance on first reading, public hearing set for July 15th, 2024. It's ordinance 2024-6, an ordinance amending and supplementing the salary ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood, entitled an amendment to an ordinance fixing and establishing the salaries and wages of certain non-bargaining unit employees of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. Our second ordinance is on second reading, public hearing. It's ordinance 2024-8, an ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the borough clerk to place upon the November 5th, 2024 general election ballot a question asking voters whether or not they wish to establish a charter commission to study and possibly recommend changes to the borough's form of government. We also have resolutions on the consent agenda. 2024-82, a resolution requesting a $1,000 refund of the road opening bond be made to Circle Janitorial Supplies. 2024-83, resolution authorizing the applications for the renewal of liquor licenses are hereby approved, and the borough clerk is authorized to issue the licenses for 2024 to 2025. 2024-84, a resolution authorizing the cancellation of taxes for a totally disabled veteran at Block 23.1, Lot 11 for tax year 2024 and thereafter, and refunding taxes paid. 2024-85, resolution to authorize the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2024 budget of the Borough of Spotswood pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, PL 1948 CDBG. 2024-86, resolution authorizing tax refunds. 2024-87, resolution authorizing change order number 1 and payment application number 1 for Morris Ave, South Street, and Orchard Road improvements in the borough of Spotswood, and 2024-88, payment of bills. We also have resolution 2024-89, which is a resolution adopting the amended municipal budget of the borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, for the year of 2024.
Thank you. This time I'd like to make a motion to open to the public. Anybody that has any questions regarding the ordinances or resolutions on the list?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public comment portion of the Spotswood Borough Council meeting is to allow the public to bring to council's attention their concerns or comments in accordance with NJSA 10-4-12A, as well as Spotswood Borough Ordinances 2-18 and 2-19, except upon consent of the council president. Each person addressing the council in the case of a resolution shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes, and in the case of an ordinance shall limit their remarks to 5 minutes total for the meeting. No person shall direct any remark or question to any specific council member except by permission of the council president. Any council member through the council president may choose to answer a question, but they are not obligated to do so. All persons wishing to address the council shall do so from the podium or other location specified by the council president. Each person addressing the council must identify themselves by name and address. If said person is representing a business or organization, they shall further state whether their comments are their personal view or those of the group that they represent.
Diane Charlesworth, 29 Old Stage Road. On the engineer's report, it has shrunk considerably since the beginning of the year. Is it because there's no new projects coming along?
Yes, excuse me, we have not been authorized to start any new projects, so that is why.
Okay. And where would that authorization come from?
The administration.
Okay. Have you received suggestions for potential new projects that are sitting, being waited on?
The only thing that's confirmed waiting on is the 2024 NJDOT grant project, which is Vaughan, Daniel, and Gover Court. That's being funded by, will be funded by DOT, but that is the only confirmed project that will.
That's in the works?
Correct.
Okay. All right. On the bill list, I got a lot of questions. Okay. Civics Plus, a finance charge for an invoice. What was the invoice for, and why did we pay a finance charge? It's on the first page. 2400712.
Second page.
Oh, second page, sorry.
That's the list.
I'm not aware of that. The website.
Okay, why did we have to pay finance charge for the website? Because we didn't pay the bill on time?
I'm not familiar with the contract. Brendan, do we have that information? To check with Tim too. No,
Didn't come from me.
nothing.
I don't know.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
The only notes that's in here says it was an overdue balance.
Microphone, please.
Do you have the invoices? Because the only note that's on here is an overdue balance.
We can check that.
Okay, while you're looking at that,
Sure.
Phoenix Advisors. Just a little bit further underneath there, 2 charges for professional service rendered. What did they do?
Phoenix Advisors is our financial advisor, and that was in connection to the bonds that just sold.
Okay. New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, further down, close to the bottom, 81,000.
That is a debt service payment.
Okay. 3, Thompson Reuters Corp. Subscription product. What do we subscribe to?
So they're the green books. Green books are statute books, and this is, I believe, for Title 52, which is the taxation section. Every year, you receive an update to the Reuters book. You can either do it online, or you can do
Get
the
hard
old-fashioned way and have the hard copy. The tax office has the hard copies.
Okay. And then at the bottom, our statewide insurance fund, that was a
That's quarter 3.
quarterly payment
Yeah.
for the
Third.
third quarter, okay? Okay, thank you.
Diane, it just says finance charge on overdue balance of $241.21.
We had an overdue balance with them. We paid them $15,000 for a website that's not user-friendly. We didn't pay the bill on time.
It just says that our records indicate this account is 30 days past due. If you have any questions or feel that our records are in error, please contact our Civic Plus collections team.
Okay, so for 30 days past due, the finance charge was $241.22.
That's what
How
it
much
says.
did we owe them still?
Can I see that? Sure. Because I think it's in relation to last year's bill, what they're saying, that we underpaid. Says they charge 1.5% plus a $5 fee. So I'll have to look into it. We'll see, but it doesn't sound like it would be from this year, it sounds like it was from last year.
Will we still
Well,
pay?
if it's only 30 days past due and it's 1.5%
I
plus
believe
$5.
it's more than 30 days past due.
Okay, will you email me with a response to that, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Rich O'Brien, 11 Hudson Avenue. And a couple of questions. First, relating to ordinance 2024-8 about the commission. So I looked at the statute, and it requires the commissioners, prospective commissioners, to obtain signatures amounting to 3% of all registered voters in town, or 100, whichever is less. So in this case, that would be 100. What's the practical impact on this ordinance if we don't get 5 people willing to do it and/or able to get 100 signatures each? Does it obviate the ordinance? Do we still put the question on the ballot?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, the question goes on the ballot if this ordinance passes, and at the same time, you would vote for those 5 people. It's the same vote at the same time, correct?
Understood. The question is,
So-
what happens if we don't get 5 people, or they don't get 100 signatures each?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't ever seen that situation come up. So I will have to.
First time for everything.
I know, there is, so I will get back to you and see what would happen if that happens. But in situations where I've seen this happen, there's always been a group of people.
Okay. And the council has identified prospective commissioners. Because the statute is vague as to how that's done.
We're still in the process of going through that. Obviously, we want to make sure that it passes to get to that next level.
Okay. Thank you. I had a couple of Bill's List questions, if I may. Feel free. Thank you. 24-00258, new officer uniforms, $2,045.41. I'm assuming police officer?
Yes, there was a recently hired police officer.
Okay, so that's the uniform allowance for a single new officer.
I'd have to pull the invoice. I do know that we had to buy uniforms. The officer was hired and did not have uniforms at the time, and then I believe he went a few weeks kind of in fatigues and then got his uniform. But
Yeah, I think it's in the CBA. It leads to a broader question. Are we hiring additional officers besides that one?
The officer in charge has been given permission to advertise for a position, but we are currently in the middle of dealing with other matters, so positions would need to open up in order to do that.
Microphone, please.
A single position. The authorization for an additional single position.
No, the way you perform is that you have a list, a hiring list that would stay active for however many years prescribed within the rules and regulations. We have no one left on the list, so if a position became available, we then would have to start the hiring process all over again. So they've been given permission to start the hiring process now, so that if the position does open up, that they would then.
So we're seeking to populate a new list of prospective officers. Okay, thank you. And then on the last page, 24-00800 to Center State, reimbursement for a public event, $10,000. What was that?
So Center State sponsored the drone show for the Sparkman Park, but a percentage of it needed to be paid by the borough. And then I believe it's 2/3 being paid by them and 1/3 being paid by us, but I'd have to just double check that. But we have to pay, the contract went between Center State and them, so we're just reimbursing Center State since they're paying the entire amount.
So this reimbursement is for Oktoberfest drone show or
No, this is for Sparkman.
Sparkin Park?
Yes.
That was gonna be my next question. Thank you, Councilwoman. So we're handling it differently than the Oktoberfest drone show.
I was not involved in the negotiations, but the amount for Oktoberfest was lower than the amount for Sparkman Park.
Okay, because I think Oktoberfest was 10,000 by Center State, and they were credited as sponsoring the entirety of that event. So this is a different.
They sponsored the entire show for Oktoberfest. The show for Sparkman Park is a larger show, and it was more expensive.
Okay, thank you, and I hope you guys had a good Father's Day with Dad, so thanks.
Thank you. Hello, Steve Ronco. So I'd like to know what Spotswood Borough Ordinance 2024-7 is. Stuff that you have on here tonight is 6 and B.
We tabled 24-7 at the last meeting.
Well, according to
No,
your,
I'm sorry.
your resolution 2024-84, it says that your Spotswood tax assessor, which has been accepted in accordance with Spotswood Borough Ordinance 2024-7. How are we putting that in there if it's not an ordinance and that it was turned down?
You can either strike it, it's, as I explained before, the borough has always had a past practice of going back to the beginning of the year. That's the reason why the ordinance was presented to council, so that you had something on the books. But that's how you've been operating for the last several years.
That's not the law though. So you haven't been paying veterans that shouldn't have been paying taxes for years. Is that what I'm hearing? We're not retro paying beyond January? The law states, once you're a disabled veteran and 100%, you don't have to pay property taxes anymore. That's what it says.
So this goes back to the ordinance that we voted no on.
Right, so you're shady by trying to put it in here. Who did this? So it didn't pass, you actually shut it down, and then lo and behold, it's in the next resolution here. We don't know that we can
Tax
shut it
resolutions
off.
come from the tax collector. After the tax collector and the tax minister send to Jenny, so they get generated by the tax collector's office.
Please speak into the like the people
He
who
does
are
not.
watching virtually cannot hear me. God.
Tax collector's office issues the resolution to the clerk's office. Maybe because there was a loss in translation that they were assuming that that ordinance was being passed. You're still following the past practice that this borough has always followed.
Which is violate the law.
I mean, that would
And
be
it wouldn't have been passed even today, it wouldn't have been passed. So he was trying to sneak that in there, which didn't go through.
So can we pull this resolution?
Why is it even in there?
You can strike the ordinance section of it, but every other resolution that you have done for veterans exemptions goes back to the beginning of the year of the date of the application.
And that's not what the law says.
Okay.
So can we pull this resolution so that we have an opportunity to review what it is that we want to do moving forward?
That's what you like to do, of course.
Yes. Right.
I prefer you to strike it so this veteran can get what he's owed.
Well, if the suggestion was made to just pull, to strike the wording about the ordinance, then this.
You're following past practice. I mean, you can pull a prior resolution that doesn't refer to the ordinance. Every resolution that you've passed with a veteran's exemption goes back to the first of the year of the application year.
Without the mention of the ordinance.
Yes.
Which
So
doesn't
this
follow
would
the
be-
law.
So
That would
this
be his
needs-
interpretation.
So this
No, the
needs,
law is very specific. Once I'm a 100% disabled veteran or anybody, you don't have to pay taxes. So if it takes 5-10 years, which it does at times, you're saying for 5 years when I pay taxes, which I didn't have to pay because it's retro, I still have to pay it because your policy, the law overrides your policy.
I'm not going to sit here and interpret the law for Mr. Rumble.
But thank God. Okay.
That is the way
No, that's
Okay.
enough.
Thank you.
the borough has followed.
So,
Do you want to just strike the ordinance language? You can do that, or you could pull this and then adopt it at your next meeting, whichever you would
I
prefer.
just want to make
Council
sure that
President.
we're giving back the Mr. Smith,
Mhm.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what they,
Yeah,
what
I
we should
think,
be giving.
I didn't draft a resolution, I'm just assuming it was drafted based on last
Mhm.
meeting, putting the ordinance there for good, good housekeeping, but without understanding that the ordinance was pulled.
Mhm.
So I think it was not intended to cause any harm.
It still wouldn't have been passed, even today.
I understand, but we just want to make sure that.
Right, but my thing is, who's doing this?
So Council
Man, no
President,
job. I mean,
Council President, I would recommend that when you're if you're gonna go forward with this resolution, just pull it for separate consideration and note that you're gonna strike the ordinance language from the resolution and adopt it as same, and that will be properly recorded.
well, that should be wrong too, because paid from the effective date of January 1st. So when is this person, when is the date of,
And that's why we want to review it. That's why we want to review it and make sure that we're covering the right timeline.
right, because what he's saying is wrong. So if let's say I got unemployment and I was found to whatever, and it gets retro back, it doesn't get retro to the date that I filed my appeal, it gets retro to
So
same thing here.
you've continued to have the same tax assessor for I don't know how many years. The tax assessor's office is
Keep on
the
breaking
one
the law,
who.
just continue, because that's our policy.
Just please let him finish.
So the recommendation comes from the tax assessor's office. Then the tax collector creates the resolution because the tax collector has to reimburse them. The policy was presented to council because this has been your past practice, is that you issue from the date of the first of the year in the year that the application has been received. And that is an acceptable form under the Veterans Law.
No.
Right, but that's what we were talking about at the last meeting. We were reviewing what the ordinance and how it was working.
So in prior resolutions, you, instead of the first whereas, where it says, in accordance with Borough Spotswood Ordinance 2024-7 and NJSA 54:4-3.30 and 54:4-3.32, in the past, you've only cited the statute.
So
You've
we
not
knew
cited
about
the
this
ordinance.
beforehand.
So you're still following the correct version.
So again, when is this effective from? When was the veteran awarded 100% disability?
I don't have that information in front of me, so.
And that's information you would not be permitted to then share with the public.
Right, but so, I'm just saying, but that's not something that we have to look at right now, so it's something that we want to review.
Okay, so
So I'm recommending.
we're not paying anything past,
I'm
so we need to figure it out.
I'm recommending we just pull the resolution so that we can review it and do the right thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So resolution 86. When is that from, that we're paying $11,181? When's the initial date of the award, and what period does this cover?
You're not permitted to discuss that in a public forum. That's between you and the property taxpayer.
According to what law?
You do not,
I
you do
don't-
not discuss a
We're paying
veteran's
$11,000
application.
for what? Is this for 2024? Because we actually listed here when they're being paid. So I don't know where you would say that you can't discuss it when it's actually in the resolution.
I think the resolution speaks for itself.
No, I don't think it does. So, totally disabled veteran, when is this covered? Is it 1 month, 2 years?
I don't have that information in front of me.
Anything we should
So
know about?
in the item, Council President, the refund is going to CoreLogic. CoreLogic is a clearinghouse for escrow companies when you pay a 3-year mortgage. So if the clearinghouse was never informed of the totally disabled veteran, which is usually the veteran's responsibility, since the contract between the property owner and the escrow company is through a mortgage company that the borough doesn't have any type of familiar relationship with. So if they continue to then charge an escrow amount on top of your property tax payment, then they continue to pay the borough for the property taxes, even if that veteran did get an exemption. So typically what happens is the veteran would then need to send the resolution for the exemption to the escrow company. They would verify it with our tax office and then stop collecting an escrow amount for that mortgage. I can't speak to when this happened or where it would happen, but we would have to go back to the resolution. Clearly, a resolution has to approve the veteran's tax deduction, and that resolution would then govern. It says what you would then refund back to. So that's the reason why you see this. It's not going back to the resident, it's going to the company who is then collecting an escrow.
Thank you.
Without doing research, I wouldn't be
You're
able to
saying
tell
this
you.
is an escrow amount for $11,000?
Mr. Ronco, I'm not going to get into the back and forth. It is a reimbursement for an escrow amount that they have
So
had
this is
to
an escrow
continue paying.
payment that you're paying?
We're not paying an escrow payment, we're paying a reimbursement to the escrow account since they kept paying the taxes after a resolution was approved.
So this is the taxes that you're paying, not escrow?
I don't know how other which way to explain it, Council President. I've explained.
So paying it back to the company that,
Right, which goes back to the veteran. Is this taxes, or is this an escrow account?
Well, since an escrow account can only, when it comes to the mortgage company, which is
I'm not speaking to you
CoreLogic.
now, I'm speaking
I mean,
to him.
could I answer your
No,
question?
I don't want to hear from you.
Well,
I'm asking
I have
him
the right
about
under
it.
ordinance and by state law to speak at a meeting, just like a council
You're
member
guest.
has the right.
You're a guest.
so, Mr. Ronco, I don't have access to these papers. I have not seen them, so.
I understand that. But my question is, because he's being an asshole,
Please, don't use that language.
Council
So,
President,
I
Council
would
President.
just,
so is it taxes that we're paying back?
I think he explained that it was,
That's why I'm trying to clarify. Because I'm not understanding, that's what I'm clarifying.
so we're paying it back to the company that paid the taxes, right?
CoreLogic is a clearinghouse that
Yes.
funds an
So
escrow
taxes.
account that takes it from the mortgage
So we're paying
and
it back
pays
to
the
the
taxes. Yes.
And we don't know if it's for 1 month or 5 years or...
I have not looked at any of this. I don't know what this covers, so I would have to dig deeper into it to look at it.
Can we look at it?
I did not have access to this.
It's like the one leaving blind here.
That's it. 88 Elm Street, Spotswood, New Jersey. First, I don't know why he would be answering questions about somebody else's financial business to anybody other than that person. Well, I do understand the premise of where he's going with it, it's still some else personal information. And I'm sure Mr. Smith is already well aware of what's happening because he's notified what's gonna happen. Since he is a member of our post, I'm sure he's gonna discuss it sooner or later. Enough about that, though. I got a question. You had stated earlier about the center state reimbursement for public convention is 1/3 of the cost for the Spark, or is that the total cost for the Spark?
I'd have to look at it. I know that the amount was, I believe the agreed upon amount was to split it between 3 different ways, and the borough was paying 1/3, but I would have to then review that. I was given an invoice from Center State who was paid the complete bill for $10,000.
$10,000. Okay, so it may be 1/3 of that 10,000.
Well, we're reimbursing them $10,000.
Period.
Yes.
And that's for a laser show.
Was it
That's for a laser show.
a drone show?
Drone show, lasers, all lights in the sky. The other question I got, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to, is Fernandez Construction. I guess that's a road completion project.
That's correct.
I think that's it. Just give me 1 second. Already answered Phoenix Advisors. Yeah, that'll be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Council President, if I may, just so we can make sure that the record is clear,
That's me, I'm sorry.
we probably need that music more often.
It happens.
So, by logging into the admin system and going to the resident, the resolution, and I now have to go back into the website and find this resolution. The resolution was 2023-85. So this was last year that this was put in place. So what I would suspect was that the individual did not inform the escrow company. The escrow company continued to charge a mortgage amount and an escrow amount to pay the taxes, and that continued to happen for probably almost a year. And then now you're reimbursing. So they finally caught up to it to say, wait a minute, I shouldn't be paying this escrow amount anymore. Okay. So the resolution, I would have to pull it, but it's a resolution authorizing the tax exemption was 2023-85. And that was from last year.
Good evening. I'm Hager, 65 Fleming Drive. I have a few comments on ordinance 2024-8, the short study issue. Personally, I've been watching the dynamics. Certainly there've been personality issues, but I don't know if the problems we have here are with our form of government. I have concerns because if there is a commission established, and if they put to the voters to change the form of government, that ends the term of the elected officials. And it's then a new election for all of the positions under the new form of government. This allows double dipping. I run. I also have my friends run for the charter study. I lose. I don't like the result of the election. My friends decide on the charter study to change the form of government, and we're back to square one with a whole new election for mayor and council, or whatever those offices are under the new form of government. To me, that's scary. We have a lot of instability right now in our town. Instability that's very much negatively affecting us. I don't think we should be adding more instability by putting this particular issue before the voters at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eileen Chandler, 12 Janice Drive. I feel kind of petty right now. Going back to the engineer's report, they did some work in front of my house, 12 Janice Drive. They're supposed to come back and do some work on when they put the Americans with Disabilities Act curb in, they took about 6 inches of my front yard.
Okay.
And that was supposed to be, they put seed down, so that looks really worse. I had agreed with Kevin to put a piece of sod down to hold the dirt there, because it's now about 6 inches lower
Okay.
than the rest of my yard, so I just wanted to add that to the.
Sure. I will get on it tomorrow and be sure they come out and take care of what they need to do.
Kevin and I are good friends right now.
And Kevin, this would still also follow under the 1-year maintenance bond, so that if it wasn't a year from now,
Correct.
still not to her liking, we can then call the bond.
That's correct. Yes, the contractor is responsible for. I think it's 2 years actually.
So there's a 2-year maintenance bond that says if at the end of the 2 years you're not satisfied with the work that has been done, the township the borough could then go and say, well, you're not going to release your maintenance bond unless you fix this punch list item, this punch list item, and that.
Well, we'll add it to the list so that we don't have to worry about it for 2 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, you have 2 years to decide.
Now, it should be fixed. He knows what he has to do. Thank you.
Oh, no. After they fix it, if in 2 years, let's say the sod doesn't stay, whatever,
Okay.
complain so that we get them to come back out again.
Well, I'm just glad they paid, that's all. Well, I am glad they paid, that's not all. It was a very good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting was called for Monday, June 17th, 2024 at 7:30 PM at Borough Hall located at 77 Summer Hill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey, pursuant to the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-8B. The public may choose to attend this meeting electronically via Google Meet. This meeting was advertised on the Spotswood website and in the Home News Tribune.
Councilman Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Lesko?
Here.
Councilwoman Schwartz?
Here.
Councilman Zaborni?
Here.
Council President Legakis?
Here.
And Mayor Palmer is absent.
Ask everybody to please rise and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ken?
Take a motion to accept ordinance 2024-6 on first reading. Public hearing set for July 15th, 2024.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2024-6 on first reading.
Seconded.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lesko?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborni?
Yes, but only to listen for further information. Yes.
And Council President Legakis?
Yes.
Next, I'll take a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-8 on second reading.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-8 on second reading.
You technically need to do it.
Yes, for a public
I
hearing.
make a motion to open up discussion about ordinance 2024-8 only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have any questions about 24-8?
That Richard Report Drive. As far as this ordinance is concerned, I've heard some comments from other people and their concerns. That's fine, I respect what they have to say about it. I don't expect there's gonna be any problem getting 5 people minimum to do this, or for those people to get 100 votes. As far as anyone trying to do something, if, elections don't go the way they want and trying to change things, I don't see that as being the reason. The town's gone through a lot of upheaval in the last 4 years, and the form of government that we have works fine in terms of being nonpartisan, but I think it needs to be looked at and voted on by the taxpayers in town. Do we want to change this from a strong council to a weak council, or a strong mayor to a weak mayor, and vice versa? At the end of the day, if the people in town vote for this change, they still have to vote on the form of government, and the commission still has to bring to them what they feel is the best. If at the end of the day, the commission brings something up and the people in town don't believe it, they're gonna vote no, nothing changes. I don't think we'll lose anything by trying. Thanks.
Thank you. Take a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
I was gonna say, can we have discussion or is that just for public, just to be clear?
Yeah.
So, my sense is either way, whether we vote here or you get the signatures. Okay? It seems like a move that's gonna occur, to me, in my opinion. So, I understand, and I'm not against, research, discovery, and discussion. So, and I commend everybody who's involved in this research. So, the way I feel, I think if I was sitting over there, and I've said this and I'll say it publicly, I was sitting over there because I enjoy being involved, I like helping. Some things work out, some things don't. But about coming together as a community to do that research and discovery, I understand where you're coming from, in my opinion.
I'll reiterate my position, which is to make the residents get the petitions and not leave it in our 5 hands. In the 1970s, the residents did the petition, changed the government to what we have now. So just follow that template.
I'm torn. And I don't feel that the government should have a hand in changing the government. It should be by the people. And so I have a problem. I'm bouncing back and forth. I've gone both ways, and my concern is, like Councilman Lesko said, we've been asking for people to come up and tell us how they feel about that, and we haven't seen that. We haven't heard, I haven't seen it here, I haven't seen the signatures, and I haven't heard from anybody outside of these meetings and outside a couple of people. So, you know, I'm sure that it would be easy to get the signatures to put this on the ballot, but I haven't seen that. So, I'm concerned. We are the government, and you are asking us to support a change in the government. And that, to me, that procedure part of it doesn't seem right. That's the problem that I have. I am not against the research, like Councilman Zaborni said. I am not against the research. I'm not sure that everybody is fully aware of what that research involves and what happens after that point. And that's my concern. I'm torn.
Diane Charles with 29 Old Stage Road. To my knowledge, nobody's been actively going out to get signatures yet at this point. So
Not for the commission. I'm looking for people to actually show me that they want to see this question on the ballot.
well,
You never closed, you did not.
You didn't close it?
Okay.
Okay.
They did not close.
Sorry. I'm sorry, we thought we closed the public
Yeah,
portion.
typically you don't go to council comments. until you
I'm
close the public,
sorry.
so-
Should I?
No,
Okay.
continue then.
All right. Other than the people who come here month after month after month, and the people who read a summary of the meeting on Spotswood Facebook pages, I don't know that the majority of the people in town are aware that some folks are thinking this way. They may be aware that there's a lot of BS going on in town right now, and wondering how the heck we get it to stop. And in my mind, this ordinance is a way to get it to stop. Because right now, there's one person who has all the power. And she's run amok.
And I understand that you feel that way. My concern is what the other option could be. And Mr. Hager kind of indicated that with the change in government, because if you looked, let's say, okay, and this is all hearsay. Okay, so let's assume that the commission will come back and say that they would like strong council, weak mayor.
Right.
Now, the council is now a
Voting for themselves. Is that what you have a problem with?
How do you know that you're not gonna have a 3-person, 4-person power struggle up here? And how do you know that all 4 people aren't gonna band together and
You
that
don't.
say you don't?
You don't.
This is my
It's a shot in the dark.
It
that is hopefully gonna resolve the morass that we are involved in
I'm
right
not sure
now.
it would, and that's my concern. I know that everybody is looking for a change.
Better
and
than
I
one.
understand
When power is shared by more than one person, I have more faith in that than it being just controlled by one person who has questionable motives, in my book. So, as far as the signatures go, believe me, we could go out there and get signatures. We can get 100 signatures, we will.
More than
Can't
100,
get the
but
signatures,
20%.
It said 100 or 3%, whichever is less. 100 or 3%, whichever is less.
I'm talking about to get it on the ballot, the question, not the candidates.
Yes, the question.
Okay. It's more than
100 signatures or 3% of the voting population, whichever is less. Do you really think we can't get 100 signatures? You got 50 just to be elected to the council, didn't you?
50's not
So
a
did I.
party. I thought it was 20%. Did I say that last meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right or wrong?
What?
I can be fact checked. I thought it was 20%, not 3%.
It's 20% if the residents want to put,
If the residents.
if the residents
Right.
without council action.
It's better. If it goes to an issue of referendum, it's 20% of the last vote, which was, I believe, Jane, only 1,400 or something. So we would be 280, let's just do 300, just to be round and whatever over the top of that. That's what it would take if we did it that way. It's 3% of the 100 to be on the ballot. That's the numbers just get confusing, but that's a breakdown of the numbers.
Thanks, Ted.
Rich O'Brien, 11 Hudson Avenue. Like Councilwoman Schwartz, I'm torn here. And I wasn't gonna speak publicly on this issue because obviously it looks self-serving. But I am gonna comment. Mary Ann and I have lived here 36 years, so I don't know how many mayoral terms that's been. Spotswood, according to the sign, has been a borough since 1908. So there's been mayors in various forms throughout that time. I think we're really talking about, in my experience in this town, a couple of administrations that got off track for their own reasons. That's 2 mayors. I don't know that we need to change the form of government to address that. Diane, who I respect, Ted, who I respect as well, talked about the lack of communication, collaboration, and teamwork between the administration and the governing body, you guys. I think that's easier to change than the form of government. I think if you operate in an atmosphere of self-respect and dignity and work with your hired professionals and your elected officials, the borough will get back to being what it's always been, in my experience, with the exception of 2 terms. And I would hope that would be the agenda going forward. To me, this is, are we throwing the baby out with the bathwater because we just don't like the temperature right now? So I would urge you to think about that. And again, I apologize for speaking because it appears self-serving. But that's what I think, so thank you.
Thank you.
Don Falconberry, 467 Adirondack Avenue. I want to reiterate, well, tag on to what Chuck and Rich has said, that whoever comes in next is going to have a lot of work ahead of them. So to throw in a new form of government along with mounting debt, an infrastructure that still isn't being addressed, and major positions that need to be filled, it doesn't seem like the time. I understand the sentiment and I understand the emotion behind it, but when you really get rational about it, now's not a good time to do something like that. we need stability. We need calm, rational thinking, not reacting. So please think about that.
What if she gets reelected?
Come on.
Well, I had nothing to do, so I started reading about it. Well, first off, I'm sure that anybody who's done any research on this at all knows that the process takes probably about 2 years. Okay, the one thing I'm definitely not in favor of the whole thing is getting rid of everybody in one shot. I mean, if we think it's chaotic right now, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, new people all of a sudden at one time, well, we'd be turning that clock backwards a few times. So I'd probably give this a lot of consideration. Maybe let it go out and just have somebody fill out the paperwork. Those who want it, they'll go do the work, as I've heard Ted say. If they want it bad enough, they'll go do the work. But to put the rap on the council is a little bit steep. And that's how I feel.
I'd like to make a motion to table 2024-8.
So you already did you do a motion in second?
Make a motion to table even while, you could close first.
Yeah.
You can still make a motion to table, just so you know. That would.
For a process, I would just close the public comment.
Yeah, thank you.
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then I'd like to make a motion to table ordinance 2024-8.
Second.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lesko?
No.
Councilwoman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborni?
Yes, for further information, yes.
Council President Legakis?
No.
Council President, council members, take a motion to accept resolutions under the consent agenda 2024-82 through 2024-83 and 2024-85 through 2024-88.
Did that pass? I'm sorry, did that table pass or
Yeah, that's the table.
well, nobody said anything?
Make a motion to accept 2024-82 through 2024-83 and 2024-85 to 2024-88.
Second.
Councilman Lesko?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborni?
Yes.
And Council President Legakis?
Yes.
Next, I'll take a motion to open public comment on the 2024 municipal budget.
So this is the public hearing for the amended version of that was introduced at the last meeting. So you're opening public comment for the amendment.
Make a motion to open the public portion for the amendment of 2024-89, resolution 24-89.
Second.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
This is just the open
Just
public
open,
comment.
all in favor?
For the
Aye.
public.
Aye.
So if anybody has any questions about the amendment, please come forward. Make a motion to close the public portion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-89.
Second.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lesko?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborni?
No.
And Council President Legakis?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, any comments from the other council members? We'll start with Councilwoman Schwartz.
Okay, so the library asked me to announce that their LMXAC consortia that the library is part of is officially rebranding as Stella. So keep an eye out for that, for those changes. The new ILS and catalog is up and running, but there are some bugs to work out over the next few weeks, so they're asking for your patience while those bugs are being worked out. Summer reading for residents of all ages begins on June 24th and runs through August 9th. The summer reading kickoff foam party is on June 25th at 4 p.m. Registration is required, so please go to the library website and check that out. Family movies will happen all summer long, Fridays at 10:30 a.m. And Jay Daniels and his Road Trip Across America concert will be on July 9th at 6 p.m. So that's library happenings. The Recreation Department hosted the Fishing Derby on June 1st and was successful with a lot of great catches that were awarded. Thanks to Ed Korecki and the Rec Department for making that happen. I was at the car show on Saturday, had over 100 cars in attendance, so that was a great time. And Spark in the Park is scheduled for Friday, July 5th from 5 to 9. And on Wednesday, June 19th at 7 o'clock, there will be an informational meeting to look into bringing back youth basketball to the rec program next year. So please consider volunteering to help make that successful by attending that meeting. And the Office of Aging has asked me to announce the following. The Senior Center will have Senior Medicare Patrol here on Wednesday, June 26th for an informative presentation about Medicare fraud. Their annual Olympics will be held on July 17th, and you can start signing up for that now. The Friends of the Office of Aging will be hosting their Chinese food luncheon with a limited menu on Friday, July 12th. And they are hosting a trip to Wind Creek Casino in Pennsylvania on July 29th. And for any of the Friends events, please contact the Office of Aging for Christina's phone number to register for all of that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Kramer?
I have nothing at this time. I've been getting ready for my son's graduation and a vacation, so I haven't had any time to really get together with EMS or our engineers, but I will get to it as soon as this is all over.
Thank you. Councilman Lesko?
Thank you. I coach soccer, but I can't coach basketball. That was never my forte, so hope to see some new faces for that. But I have 3 items of my own. We are doing the craft show and vendor fair again, which is going to be the day of the 5K, which is September 14th. I will be arranging that, so if there are any vendors that are interested, please reach out to me. Or if anybody wants to volunteer to help me out to arrange it, contact me. New faces are always welcome to help out in this town. Number 2, the CERT team, which as some of you may know, is the Community Emergency Response Team, is holding the next round of training July 24th in Sayreville. There were 9 in-person trainings over the summer. Then after that, you can spend time with me, Dawn, some other cool people, and become a valuable resource to the community. There are a few members in here tonight. There are flyers at the table at the front, and thank you to tap into for writing a nice article today about it. And check out our Facebook page, which the link to is on the website. And 3, a personal note, I start class tomorrow for my QPA license, which is a qualified purchase. You get what I'm trying to say. Qualified purchasing agent license, so I'll be learning more about government purchasing, bids, contracts, and I will be sure to share with my council. As always, info if I learn a valuable bid or 2. And notable, a year from now, I may have my QPA license, which is a optional position for towns to have. So that was it. I'll see everybody on July 5th.
Thank you. Councilman Zerwani.
All right, so speaking of education, I was at the Spotswood Board of Ed meeting the other night, last Tuesday. Councilman Lesko paid a visit. That was very nice as well. So a lot of retirements they did a celebration for. It's graduation and moving up ceremony week. This Wednesday, 6/19, will be the memorial graduation, or moving up, if you will, over at Spotswood High School. And then the Spotswood High School class of 2024 will be graduating Thursday night at 6:20 over at the high school gymnasium as well. So very excited. Congratulations to everybody and all best wishes to the staff to have a relaxing summer just as well over there. They did great stuff. Culture and Heritage, I'll have an update next month for you. Come in. And also, as always, don't forget to shop at St. Peter's. They do wonderful things for our communities or surrounding communities. And we'll see everybody over at Spark in the Park. And happy belated Father's Day, and to all the caretakers out there as well. Hope you had a relaxing day. Thank you. Proud to serve.
Thank you. I too want to just wish congratulations to the class of 2024, Spotswood High School. Jenny asked that I make a couple of announcements regarding packets for 2 council seats that we have up this year, and also the mayor's seat. They are due back. They are currently available and due back August 22nd. You can pick up packets between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Fridays. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. At this time, you can come up and speak about anything regarding anything, not just what's on the agenda.
Bill Fitzgerald, 7 Crescent Avenue. As soon as you hear Crescent Avenue, you know what I'm here for. There hasn't been a damn thing done since I was here exactly 5 months ago on the detention pond. The grass is 6 feet high. All we're having in the forecast is excessive amounts of hurricanes possibly this year, and nothing's been done. I gave suggestions here at the meeting, haven't heard anything back, and nothing, absolutely nothing's done. The whole thing is getting completely reforested. The outflow area going into Crescent Avenue alone is overgrown, going under Crescent Avenue. The other outfall that goes behind the Borough Yard down to the end of Crescent Avenue to go around the Willard Clark Circle area, that's all overgrown as well, and it's going to be completely plugged with debris from the reforesting that's there now. So I just want to know, did you even discuss it or anything in 5 months?
Yeah, thank you for your comments. So I've had probably over a dozen meetings out in the field out there with Public Works, the Knights of Columbus, and various other council members that have also come out, along with speaking off the, not there, but on the phone or wherever council members. And DPW has taken initiatives. They've cleared out a lot of it. They're continuing to clear out a lot of it. The Knights of Columbus, we met with them to determine options they can take on their property as well to continue to improve this. We've looked into also capital projects that will help this area. We've cleared out the area on the Miller Avenue side of Crescent Avenue that significantly improved the drainage on that side. The other side, we're continuing to work on. We have some ideas in place. When we have our next capital projects meeting, it's definitely a high priority on our list, but we've been out there many times. Like I said, there's a few council members here, some members of the audience have been there, as some are members of the Knights, and so yes, we've been actively looking at it, coming up with solutions, working on what we can, but we are continuing that effort moving forward.
I know that you did the stuff on the Miller Avenue side. I was there watching, and on the other side, is anything going to be done with the pipe going underneath the road? You know it's plugged. You were going to put a camera underneath it. Right?
Yes, and to my knowledge, it has not been cameraed yet. I will double check with Public Works tomorrow. They have a camera, so they were going to do that. I don't believe it's been done, but I will continue to follow up with them about that.
And there was extra money put into this budget that was just adopted for that project.
Perfect. So.
And what about the detention pond itself?
The large detention pond off of Crest Avenue? Yes, so we've looked into that as well. We have some ideas in place for that as well, to help that pond actually hold the water better as currently it's just kind of a flow through at the moment. But yes, we have looked into that as well, and with the monies aside, we have some ideas for that as well to improve.
If it gets backed up again, like it probably will now with all the debris and getting reforested. Even June Road is even a possibility again from the flooding. I've been here since '57. We've gotten flooded so damn many times over there, it's terrible. And when it just goes to non-maintenance, I know the guys from the borough try to get the leaves out of the ditch next to the Knights of Columbus, but it's just for naught when the pipe is broken.
Sure.
You know, and it's been broken even when they did the improvements on Crescent Avenue, and I couldn't get Bruce Koch to even look at it.
Sure.
You know,
I can't speak for.
I know CME was worthless, and just look at Brunswick Avenue. But are you going to at least mow the grass or cut down some of the damn trees that are in there? It's a detention pond.
Sure.
It's not a forest.
Sure, I agree with you, and again, I will be in contact with Public Works. I'm not familiar with what they do for their typical maintenance there, but I will assure them that they are aware of the issue, and I will follow up with them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
If you'd like to see what it looks like, I can give you the picture.
Nancy Fridella, 34 Colonial. The TNR program has begun, and so far we have been trapped with one loss for 4 months, and CHIP was used in locating the owner, so that was a good thing. This works for lost pets, like this one was, and for kids to go to our partnership, which we are now with All Critters Rescue. Any friendly cat will not be released, but go to another rescue for adoption, as the ferals will be TNR'd and will be released where they were found. I want to thank the residents and ShopRite for donating wet and dry food for our cause. The donations received went to the 2 colony caretakers, myself, and the DPW. I'm looking forward for more residents and shop owners to participating and donating for the program. I would ask any residents who is interested to be a colony caretaker to fill out an application at the borough page. If we get more involved, we can train by having a workshop, or those interested individually learn to use traps and stop this cycle. Remember, feed them, fix them, and any questions can be asked on the Spotswood TNR page, which we have now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Town of Falconberry, have we hired a bus driver for the seniors?
Part-time and full-time.
Part-time and full-time, correct?
Well, we've hired about 6.
But right now, do we have one?
There
Yes.
is a full-time and a part-time that has not quit in their first week.
Did we raise the?
Okay.
So the answer is yes.
Yes, for now. Right. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Diane Charles with 29 Old Stage Road. Last month, we had a presentation by Ray Heyduka regarding the situation with the police department. And he suggested to the council that you have the authority to write a resolution that would restore the 3 officers who are suspended to duty. Have you done that?
Nope. I'm not at liberty to talk about that right now. Thank you.
Okay, well, in going through the bill list, we've paid a lot of money to attorneys to deal with the lawsuits and to deal with the baloney. Currently, since the beginning of the year, we've paid Raynone and Coughlin almost $34,000. And the big winner, Parker McKay, we've paid them $98,380.56 since the first of the year. That doesn't include what we paid them last year. We're paying them this money in addition to the salaries of 3 officers sitting home, one of whom has been there since November 30th. All three of these men have cleared their IA investigation. So what's the problem? Why is it only these three officers? Why aren't, I believe that there were some officers named in Brittany Johnson's tort claim that I like to call the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. None of those people are being investigated. Why not? She called them out as harassing her. Why aren't they being investigated? It only seems to be investigations on officers who object to the corrupt mayor and her administration.
Yep.
So, what are we going to do about it?
Nothing.
So Diane, as I mentioned, I'm not at liberty to speak
I
about.
understand that, but do you really... The silver lining to one of the clouds is that that officer has had quality time with his young son that he never would have had. That's great, but he still has to put food on the table. He doesn't get any overtime. You're playing with people's lives. So when will this be over? And we've been paying these people, these attorneys, hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I added last year's fees back in, it would be there. So you have the authority to do something. You really need to act, because this has gone on long enough. People aren't getting responses from the acting chief that they should receive, and it's because he's probably in over his head. I don't know, but our police department is operating behind the 8 ball, and that's not good.
Thank you.
Steve Ronco. Does the mayor still live in town? It's the third meeting I've asked.
I cannot answer that. I have no idea.
Or, you know,
I assume so.
We assume
Sorry?
if she doesn't live in town, she can't be mayor. So is there a way we can investigate that for the third ask? No, okay.
I could look into it.
Are members of the council sharing confidential information with members of the public? So I drive around town, I see grass isn't being cut. Do we have code enforcement? And the warehouse is included on that. There's all quality of life issues. There's grass running amok, as one gentleman over there said. What's code enforcement doing?
I will look into it. I'm not sure. I'll check and see if there have been any complaints.
He's part-time, correct?
I'm sorry?
Is he part-time? Code enforcement?
Yes.
Does he drive around to look for violations?
I don't know what his daily operation is.
Has he ever issued summonses for anything?
I can't answer that.
You know the most recent one
Yes.
that you got the email on.
Yes, actually, yeah, we have actually had an issue that I brought to the administration's attention, and it was addressed. So, yes, I can say that there was...
Well, it was already previously addressed. You brought the issue, and construction answered back what they've already done pre-bringing that to their attention.
Correct.
So that points to the fact that he is proactively going out into the community.
Correct.
Or can we, let's say, not decipher that, and what's the issue that we're talking about?
Yeah, sure. There was a problem with rodents over by Sholey School and needed to be addressed.
So that's the only thing that he's addressed, according to the email.
I'm just letting you know of a specific situation.
Right, that's, like I said, one issue, but we see grass growing all over the place, and there's houses that are dilapidated, and they're on the main road. So I still haven't received my email logs. This is my third council meeting.
I
requesting that.
believe, the clerk, Jenny, you responded earlier today.
So I have them?
They've been sent out for review, and you will,
Well,
I believe it said you'll receive by Friday. By the end of the week, by Friday.
this is like 4 months ago, if not longer.
from what I understand, there were thousands of emails to go through, okay?
So we do 6 months? And
We're
without-
doing what we can, Mr. O'Neill, all right?
That's not good enough, though.
Sorry.
So I still haven't received my check for overpayment of 2024 taxes that I paid. When will I get that?
I will check on that for you, I'm not sure.
When will I receive retro payment of back taxes from February 2023 to December of 2023?
Again, I will check on that for you.
I asked you last time, did you check on it?
From,
The last council meeting, I asked you the same stuff.
right,
So we didn't
I
check.
haven't received an answer yet, so I will look into it for you. February to December?
It would be February 2023 is where I was awarded. And so I'm waiting on the check from January 1st, 2024 till whenever it was. And then from February 2023 to December of 2023. State law says I don't have to pay taxes. So I'd like my money back.
We'll look into it for you.
Right. And every other veteran, according to what he's saying, we just don't pay veterans. So if you get awarded in January, you only get January. If you get awarded in December, you get the entire year. Does that sound right to you?
I believe we addressed it at the last meeting.
No, we didn't. State law, it overrides policy. There is no policy. You didn't have an ordinance. You try passing an ordinance. Then you try throwing it in with the language of this other ordinance. You have to pay back taxes. If somebody takes 10 years to get their 100%, there's appeals that go on, there's everything that goes on. So you have to retro pay it back to when they're first 100%. Not till whenever you decide of that year. That's just ridiculous. Thank you.
Almost all of it. Almost. Ed Seeley, 88 Elm Street, Spotswood, New Jersey. I just got a simple question for all council. You can answer for them, Mr. Council President. When do you guys get the bill list?
We usually receive the bill list Thursday or Friday of the, prior to the meeting.
Sometimes there's amendments, don't late things come in, right? Occasionally there's an amendment to the bill list.
I've been asked not to do that, so it would be a specific request to the council president, but the bill list, once it's issued, it is issued.
Okay, is it possible to get it out sooner?
You could, based off of the rules that the council president has set, council gets a copy of the agenda on Thursday. Council president is in charge of setting the meeting. It does not get released to the public until council president authorizes it.
I'm not looking for it to go to the public that soon. I'm looking for it to go quicker to the council, only because there seems to be a lot of chaos when we come here and ask questions about certain bills, and you're usually answering the question, and they should know the answer if they're approving the bill.
So once the bill list is released, that green folder is released to the clerk's office for council to review. And then council members do come in. I know Councilwoman Schwartz came in today, and I met with her for probably 25 minutes today.
You don't have to show me yours. I know you're doing that. I'm just saying, because it does seem to happen a lot.
Going to one meeting a month has made it so that we have to make sure if certain bills don't come in on time, and then you're gonna have to wait another month, we try to get as many onto the bill list as possible, but you only can add with council president's approval.
I don't go back to saying you should probably go back to 2 meetings a month. I know how popular that it is, but it seems like it would make a little sense. Maybe in the future. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Chuck Hager, 65 Herman Drive. I just went through another election cycle, and I wanted to tell you again, the services that we receive from Jenny are excellent. She stays on top of things as there are problems at various polls. She was there. My grapevine gets me information quick. Sometimes she has it even quicker. So, due to you. And again, it's been a year since I last commended the services that we get from the road department in the garbage collection services. I really hope that someone extends the department an accolade for the fine service. Sometimes I look at what I put out in front of the house and
Today's National Service Sanitation People Day. Yep.
And no proclamation.
Nope.
Well, we thank them for the job that they do, so I appreciate you bringing that up, thank you.
Take care of the guys every week when they come on my property. I bring them out water in the summer, thank them for what they do, because they do a great job.
Let's bring them in here and thank them.
That's a good idea. Real good idea.
Make a motion to close the public portion?